On Tesla, do you think Elon Musk in particular, but the tech billionaire class as a whole, has now been exposed quite comprehensively, has exposed, in fact, the entire whole myth of the genius billionaire?
So he's just one of many, who I think doesn't, first of all, say thank you enough. As a mother of 4 kids, I say thank you. I actually once tweeted he should say thank you. Then he did say thank you to NASA. And I'm not saying he even saw my tweet, but it's kind of funny because, if he did say thank you, with all these so-called tech billionaires, and by the way, I don't call them tech billionaires, I just call them billionaires, precisely because most of the tech actually came from others, not just from them. So I don't want to just say they are the tech guys, bros, and everyone else is there just facilitating them. Of course, they do also invest in the tech, but they're not the only ones. But what's important is if at least you recognize, as Bill Gates does, by the way, he often has said he's thankful to all the different investments that governments made, which allowed both he and Steve Jobs to, kind of create the industries they did. But once you recognize it, then everything else I say, like, hey, well, then let's make sure that we're also socializing the rewards and not just the risks, follows, right? If you don't even begin with that recognition, which could even just begin with a thank you, then it becomes very hard, even for governments, again, because they're constantly talking to these businesses, which then threaten them. Oh, if you touch prices, if you, mess with intellectual property rights, or if you take, stakes in the company, then we're going to leave. If you don't have that kind of confidence in the narrative and the framework, which ultimately is also an economic theory, as an economist, I actually talk about the theory that needs to change, the theory of value. Where does value come from? What does collective value creation mean? What does it mean to have market shaping and not market fixing from a policy standpoint? So that's why it's also important for the billionaires, once they make the money, to also admit all the public investments that they benefited from. Strangely, by the way, Warren Buffett is often saying he would never have made the billions he did without the social infrastructure. I mean, he's talking less about the tech, but he recognizes the massive social infrastructure that he and others have benefited from